last time, we made great progress in Curioville. Things couldn't be better. Just look at the elegant crescent of townhouses, the grand clock tower, or our new and improved local park. Today, we're changing the landscape, quite literally. Welcome to Font Brack, otherwise known as Curioshire, a small lakeside piece of land that will be transforming into a charming farming community. Since we've been perfecting our skills through the series, building in Curioshire should feel much more intuitive, but I'm sure it'll bring its own challenges. So sit back, relax, and let's build in town to city. And if you're enjoying this series, hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already so you won't miss out on future episodes. And without further ado, let's continue on. So welcome everyone to Curioshire. Now, our first initiative is to set up a farmhouse, but before that, just wanted to get to grips with the lay of the land and have a look at the map as we zoom out a little bit. So we've got some very flat pieces of land, which is useful, with some rolling hills, and then this really rather large and gorgeous lake with a peninsula in the centre, lots of trees. So it's definitely a different style of map to Curioville, and I think it'll provide some challenges. Let's start our little farming town, shall we? So we need to set up a first farmhouse. So let's have a look at the houses that we've been given for this map. So we've got a townsfolk residence, which is much like the ones that we have in Font Brack. Let's just take a look at that. There's a few variations in colours, as we expect. We've also got a farmer residence, which is actually a much bigger building, and I guess will introduce us to the world of farming. So our first goal is to place this. Now, I'm thinking of placing it around here because I had a sneaky look at the research menu from earlier, and our first unlockable crop is a grape, and I know that grapevines like growing on hills, so I think I'm going to start things off around, maybe let's put it here. So our farm has been built, but we need to connect it to the station. And I think what I might make different to Curioville is placing some more natural looking roads. So we have a choice between sand or dirt. I think I might opt for sand in a smaller brush size and just do some sweeping lanes as we're connecting ourselves. Now, some of these residents are in the way, which is a bit awkward to figure out. So maybe let's just wind it as organically as possible and completely miss the entrance. There we go. And let's move in our first family. So we've got the Pinot family. Welcome to Curioshire. You've housed your first farmer residence. This family will take care of their land and can't be employed anywhere else. So let's move to farms. And we have 3 variations of crops. This research menu uses farm points to unlock new items and tiers. Farm points are generated by providing your residents with crop-powered commerce. So our first unlockable is grape, and that in turn unlocks a winery, which is a very small workforce and above average production capacity. Let's plant the first crops. Click on the farm and open the farm tab. Aha! This menu allows you to access your crop brushes and an overview of the farmhouses. I see, so the crops are as intuitive as the terrain paint, so it's based on some brush sizes. I really like this. It's going to be much easier to plant a lot of detail. Grapes do like growing on the hillside, so let's start some of it here with a pathway that's leading up the hill, because I have something in mind. I think it'll be quite nice on that vista. And we are given 3,400 meters squared of crop allowance, so let's make sure that's not to overmax that, shall we? The crops are planted, but they still need to be processed so that you can use them for more commerce. I see. Let's make sure your farmer residents are happy and productive. Happier farmers produce more crops. Farmers won't have their crops available for commerce if their happiness drops below 60%. See. And we are currently at 51%. So what we need is a place for them to eat, and a place for them to shop. So I think I would like to create a town centre in the centre since it makes the most sense. And perhaps let's make this a little bit more official by doing a square, a town square. So where's the central point? It's around here. And let's put a linear tool on as well. Now, the great thing about these maps are they're interconnected between both towns. So we have all our unlockables, which is very useful. We don't have to start from scratch. So let's just add a couple of stores. And of course, these will be subject to change and placement, I'm sure. And we also need to have a clothing shoemaker and optician. I think maybe let's just go for a clothing store. And we also need to move some workforce in. So we need to create an area where the houses will reside. Thinking around this little lakeside area and using the same kind of sandy pathways. So curling around everywhere. So let's get the first part of the road down, shall we? Road has been placed, and let's get some houses in. Now, we used a pretty straightforward color palette in Curioville of white and yellow, I believe, so I think I'm going to follow suit and not opt for the uber colorful houses. I think I might start around here, so let's place one here, and let's place one here, and we'll do it all in a different orientation than what we've done for the town and make it look as organic as possible and create some little tight alleyway moments, which I think will look quite nice in this part of town. Let's move in some new people to Curioshire, shall we? And we also need to add a warehouse. So for the time being, I'm going to put it here, and that will definitely change because I would like to make this area look as beautiful as possible without a big massive warehouse stuck in the space. Let's also place down another house as well. So we've gone for an orange one here, so let's maybe go for a white one here. So we're currently sitting at 63% happiness for our farmer residents, which is good to know. But we need to connect it to a granary. Now this is a new building that's been given to us in this map. It's a large warehouse that collects crops from active farms. Worker demands based on amount of land per farm. Now I'd like to put a lot of the farmyards over here, so I think it would probably make sense to place it around here, and we can tuck it away with some trees because it's actually a very big and unsightly building. And I would also like to drop down our winery. Now I was thinking, given we've got these beautiful views of the lake, that it could probably just tuck in here in this top part of the hill. Might just do it at a bit of an angle, and we might need to move some trees out the way. And let's place a pathway leading to our winery, and we've added a labourer to the winery so we can get it functional. And if the townsfolk are anything like me, they love a tipple or two. We also need to increase the staff members in our warehouse, so let's get that all connected. And we also need to connect our granary as well. So I think I might just use the same type of road and just trace it around the water's edge. And hire another couple of people to run it. So everything is all connected now. This building has crop received disabled. Click on the building and locate the toggle to enable it. Here it is. This building is not receiving any crops, but you are now. So if we go to our research menu, we can have another overview of what we can unlock. So we have 2 further crops. We've got corn and we've got wheat. We also have an animal shelter, which is where you can adopt various pets and assign them to families. I'm really excited for this little tweak that they did to the most recent update in the game. Since we don't have pets, we just have swans and ducks so far in our little world, so that'd be a nice addition. We also have some garden decorations, which includes a small ivy, big ivy, gazebo, an open gazebo, a tree stump, and a stepping stone. So that'd be nice for some extra decorations. And what I've seen as well from other amazing creators, they've been placing stones in the water to create these nice little stonework moments and, you know, really add some extra beautiful detailing to the world. And also can just see there that our research points were going up slowly but surely. So I guess while we're waiting, let's make something out of this farm area. So I'd like to add some fencing up here just to settle in, and a few more trees and shrubberies in the area. So I'm going to pause the game because I can see that pesky train coming in. And I think the most appropriate fence would probably be the wooden fence. Here we are, our first farm is neatly settled into the landscape. I just fenced off the area, added a nice little archway leading to the winery, and also placed these purple and blue flowers just to coincide with our little grapevines. Also really liked that the terrain paint goes right up into the house, so it really integrates into the landscape. And I also added a cellar at the back. I'm sure we'll add a lot more detail as the part progresses, but for now I think that looks very sweet and charming, and also just looks a little bit more organic. I also would like to add some detailing to these residential houses, but I might place down a few more, so I'm going to maybe just pepper it around this little road and add some more detailing to this area. So details have been added to our little village, a little hub where all our residents live. Just added some flowers, some bushes, some trees, a few different market stalls as well, just to appease the little townsfolk. But I really like how these little winding paths came out, and we will definitely add more detail over time. We need to add in a couple more labourers to our warehouse, but before that, we need to move in a few new families. So, welcome to Curioshire. And let's up our labourers. So everything's connected. Fabulous. We've not even set a colour for our clothing still, but there hasn't been a request yet, so maybe I'll just wait. We're currently sitting on 11 research points. We need 30 to get to the next stage of crops unlocking, so I guess we'll have to wait a little while or speed things up. We've just reached enough research points to unlock a brand new crop, and we have a choice between corn and wheat. So this unlocks a bakery, which is really exciting since we don't have one of those yet in our world. It's a very small workforce and above average production capacity, but it requires both corn and wheat. And then we can also unlock some hay decorations. So that would be a nice detail for Curioshire. Get a hay cart, a hay roof, a scarecrow, and a hay bale. I think maybe let's just start first with corn. Why not? And then we can place down a brand new farm. And we also have a family that actually wants to be in a farm, so that works out perfectly. Now, since I want to create some of the farm areas over to the left side, I think maybe let's place down a new farmhouse, maybe around here. And they've got another lovely little winding path up the hillway. And that's connected with our sand as per usual. So I think the entrance is around here. So maybe let's just follow the road. Oh, that was looking a bit janky. And let's move in our new family. So corn doesn't need to grow on hills, so I think I might just do it in a nice square formation. Maybe let's leave a pathway open to go up this hill here. So let's pop it here. Very much nearly met our quota. Maybe one more, two more, three more. There we go. Now our granary needs more labourers to meet the demands. Our farmers are not very happy since they're missing out on some clothing options, so maybe let's just place down a building here to appease them. And I did say I want to just pretty this area up a little bit with some extra trees, so let's do that. Just been eye dropping all the foliage from the area and just making it look as natural to the landscape as possible. It's definitely not as manicured as Curioville, that's for sure. Let's add a worker. And our warehouse now needs demand. It's very much a juggling act here. We've also gained enough research points to unlock wheat, so let's definitely go for that. We've now got a bakery and a hay decorations, so it's going to be nice new additions to our little farmland. I think maybe we could probably wind up a road up here and place a farm up this section. Okay, we've added 2 new farms to Curioshire. We've got a wheat and a corn farm, and this household in particular are demanding some farm decorations to their house, and it just so happens that I've unlocked the hay decoration, so I think that should appease them. Here we are, so we've got a hay cart, a hay roof, and a scarecrow. And I guess for this farm in particular, it would make sense to have scarecrows, so maybe let's just pop one right at the front and also one around here as well. It's a nice little detail. It definitely adds to the countryside appeal. Can these go in the buildings? Oh, they can as well. That's really cute. Let's place one below that window. Let's also put a hay cart at the back. Oh, it's very big actually. Don't know if we can squeeze it in. There we go. Perfect. And I've also added some little yellow flowers, kind of coincided with these crops. Let's just make sure we nestle in this building to the land as we did with our first farm. Just placing a few bits of dirt. I've also had to place a cheese stall here just to make sure the happiness is okay, but I guess we will just, you know, develop that over time and make it look a lot prettier than it is. Now, we currently have a lot of unhappiness with our farmers in this part of the town, so we need to give them food and also clothing as well. So I think maybe because the reach is too far, we can't select that. So maybe let's just add another stall here up this way. And I've also just added in a couple more houses as well. We'll just be winding the roads as we go. So maybe let's just add a couple more houses. Pop you on the end. And maybe let's branch off this road to around here. So make everything as interconnected as possible. It's a bit of a weird looking road, but I'm sure it'll look okay. And let's move in a family. Let's also take stock of our farming overview. So this lists what crops we have and what are being powered by our crops. So you can see the availability and the total. And our winery only requires 50 grapes at the moment, so it's not very demanding on Curioshire. But I think since we've expanded so much and we've got such little money, it probably would make sense to meet the needs of our little community. So we need another labourer here. I think the happiness is okay. We've got a total of 83% happiness. We just need to add some decorations to our workplaces. And we're very much lacking in apparel, even though we've got 2 clothing stores, so that doesn't really make sense. I guess the difficulty with this map is that we don't have a taxes tab to bring in some revenue, so it's always going to be reliant on production. So that's quite a nice challenge to have this part of the world. And I have kept this free since nothing's really connected. So it might be nice to create a nice little villagers market in this area. And I've just been winding some more roads around here, so let's just add a few more trees. Might create something out of this, maybe just a little flower bed or something. So let's do this on camera. I've also been choosing a very select amount of colours. So if you remember from Curioville, we used just a limited palette of, I think it was red and these pink and yellow flowers. So this, I might go for a white and a yellow palette. But we've also got this mixture, which is really useful. Brings in another pop of colour. So maybe let's make use of that as well. And throw in a few bushes. Love a bush. And maybe a little small tree as well. Doesn't look great, but I will work away from camera and make it look a little bit better. But I really like how these little houses have come together. Just what I imagined for this area. Quite a little hamlet. And we've got a few more residents that would like to move in. So I might just extend our little village area around here. Let's place another little house into the hillside. And we can move in probably the one that does not require the proximity to any places to eat, since they won't be happy. And our budding hamlet is up to 54 residents, which is really sweet. I think we've done quite a lot in this part. We've expanded into the farmland area, and got to grips first with placing some farmhouses and also connecting our crops into our winery, which I think actually turned out really nicely. Got nice curb appeal. Also unlocked a few more crops, so we've got our corn and our wheat, and we're well on our way to unlocking a bakery, which is exciting. Definitely need to dress these up away from camera. And then create this little village. I think I definitely want to nestle in the landscape a little bit more, but I really like that it's unstructured. I guess that was the main goal for this map, not to make it feel so town-like. We definitely need to do something about this area since it's looking very bleak at the moment. So thanks so much for joining me on this little village side quest. We're definitely going to continue on in Curioshire in the next part, and then we'll probably move to Curioville a little later on. But if you do like this video, please give it a like and leave me a lovely comment down below. You can also search my name, Curiopher, on YouTube for other cozy building games. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.